So a while back, we were talking about monkey business, and there were
Apes?
monkeys in a zoo up north somewhere where they were studying them as a way of studying.
They were studying their
management, and I believe you have something that is even more bizarre about monkeys. And can I warn the listener that if you're having your tea, an early cup of tea with a spoon or something nice, well, it's not far off because I've heard this, chaps. Brace yourselves.
It's just a little study here. Now, I must stress it was by stress. There's a all puns intended, because this is about stress that management suffer. And they're suggesting that middle managers suffer more stress than sort of top managers or bottom managers, people in the middle. But it is biologists who've done this work. Say, being a psychologist, you think, well, what do they know about? Anyway,
nothing.
They've looked at the stress in a troop of monkeys, and you get monkeys have the same sort of hierarchies that we do, and they measure the stress by observing the behaviour and then picking up their feces, because they can test the feces for the amount of cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So that's the dirty bit.
That's just.
Want to be a biologist?
And we thought that exploring electricity bills all day was a horrible job.
Go around and pick up the monkey mess. Now then, but what they discovered was, as I've just said, it seems that the middle group in the hierarchy are the ones who are most stressed after a period of agonistic behaviour, slapping, chasing, aggression, and so on. And you think, well, I could see how that might work.
Yeah.
You don't, when you're in the middle, you don't only have to worry about looking after, taking, and maybe sometimes defending yourself from what's going on below and coming upwards.
Yeah.
You've also got to defend yourself from what's coming downwards. Yeah. Whereas the guys at the bottom don't care about the top, the absolute, and they've got nobody to look down to. So,
as the great Ronnie Corbett said in that famous sketch, "I know my place."
Yes.
They're at the bottom.
I remember a study about trips in Vietnam as well, on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and it was the middle officers, the NCOs, that actually had to do the dirty work when everything kicked off, but they knew they were going to have to do it, whereas the troops didn't know the ordinary troops didn't know what was coming down the line. The NCOs did, and they were just told to do what they were told to do, whereas the NCOs would sit there and worry about what was coming, so they were under more stress than the ordinary troops. Maybe it's a kind of related phenomenon.
But is it not fair to say that, okay, let's forget monkeys for a moment, let's go back to the workplace where you've got the MD and you've got the middle manager and you've got the shop floor worker or the guy who actually does things.
Yes.
The MD is under a different kind of stress. He might not have a boss, but he's the one who's dealing with the bank manager. He's the one who's got to prepare the shareholder report for the AGM or whatever. There's always everybody's got a boss, even if you are the boss.
That's a good point. You're right. Everybody's got a boss. So, is there anybody at the top? Is anybody's head bumping off the ceiling? And there's nobody there.
Richard Branson. But then even, he's got shareholders to worry about. He's got the Financial Services Authority for the Virgin Bank, and he's got, competitors to worry about with nice Willie Whatsit from British Airways. And, whichever position you're in, you've just got different worries and stresses. Maybe somebody should follow Richard Branson around and scoop up his poo and analyse it for the stress levels.
The cortisol.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think monkeys would let you get away with that. I'm not sure Richard would. Oh, you can write to him and ask.
Speaking of my friend Richard...